So, this is going to be just a little rant, I guess you could call it, but it's basically on the concept of accountability. And it came to my mind a couple months ago, and I was dating this girl in September, and we were talking, and I realized when I reflected on the issue, I could have handled things in a better manner. So, over the past few months, I've felt this urge to, I guess, own my mistakes. So, I ended up sending her a message along the lines of me basically being accountable for my actions and saying that I fucked up and that was my bad. So I wanted to just come on here and talk about accountability and why it's important. So, first of all, I think this generation that I grew up in, as I'm born in 2001, so the millennials, I think technology and social media takes a huge part of that accountability away because you can hide behind profiles, you can basically sit online and talk shit about someone else, but not have any repercussions from that. So, taking out the accountability for it. Another thing is overprotective parenting in our society. I feel that a lot of parents shield their kids from what they need to experience. Like when I was growing up, I'd fall and then I'd learn my lesson. I'd do something stupid, like riding with my feet on the handlebars. I love to do that. Or riding with no hands because you want to show off when you're a kid. But I paid the price for those by falling one or two times. And you get your back scratched up, you get your knees scratched up, and you learn your lesson because there's a consequence that goes along with the action. When you're overprotective as a parent and you never experience, the kid never experiences falling and then having to get back up and learning from that to not do that again, they don't learn as well as someone who would experience it. Another thing is the cultural shifts. So there are cultural shifts over time that have led to a decrease in accountability. So for example, there's like more or less emphasis on responsibility and more focus on like your rights, and that comes with entitlements too because people think they deserve stuff for not putting in any work. Another thing is lack of role models. In some cases, like these younger generations can lack strong role models. So obviously, for females, there's not many good ones. Like Cardi B, not a great role model for people to grow up watching. I grew up as a role model. My role models were Cristiano Ronaldo when I was younger because I used to love soccer. And then I started playing hockey more, and it was Sidney Crosby. So when you look up to someone, you want to look at their values and you want to see that those align with you because otherwise you'll follow values that you may not necessarily agree with, and then you'll find yourself on the opposite of where you want to be. Another thing that kind of ties in with the overprotective parenting is the fear of failure. The fear of failure or making mistakes can also contribute to like a lack of accountability because if you fear something, like I feared recording this video because I'm like, I want it to be perfect because I would say I'm a perfectionist and I want things to be like the best quality, but most people do. But instead of trying to make everything perfect, why don't you just try? Try it, and if you fail, you'll learn from it and you'll be better next time for it. So that's partially why I'm recording this video, as I'm scared of recording something, so I'm facing my fear and I'm being accountable for my own actions. So I had a roommate who we were great friends, and then there was this issue where we almost got into a physical altercation, and it ties in with this accountability. So over the past few months, I've had a lot to deal with accountability. Anyways, we almost got into a physical altercation. I'm not going to say his name because there's no need to put him on blast for that. Anyways, long story short, we almost got into a physical altercation, and then we kind of didn't talk to each other for a couple days, and he ended up apologizing yesterday, and he admitted where he was wrong. He's like, these actions were uncalled for, and I apologize for the way I conducted myself. I hope this isn't the end of whatever, like our friendship. And I took that and I respect him for it because it takes a lot to admit when you're wrong about something. So him being able to admit that he was wrong and realize that tells me that he's not just thinking, oh, it's all my fault in the, I guess, interaction. So it gets you a long way because if you're accountable for your actions, people will tend not to cut you off and not talk to you anymore. So that ties in with my next topic of how accountability can make you a higher value person. So it demonstrates trustworthiness and reliability. And these are two very important characteristics because trust is essential for any relationship. Whether it's a friendship or an intimate relationship, trust is the foundation for all of it. Because if you can't trust someone, then you can't depend on them for really anything. And that ties in with reliability as well. It shows that you take responsibility for your actions and you own up to what you did. So if you did something and it impacted someone's lives in a negative way, you own up because you did that and that was your choice. It also helps to build a positive reputation, and it also earns respect for others. Like my roommate, when he apologized for the situation and owned up to everything, I respected him much more. Even though we got into that altercation, I respected him much more after the fact because that he owned up to what he did was wrong and he said his piece. And with that, it encourages personal growth and development by acknowledging the mistakes that you've made, and thus you can take steps to improve on whatever you need to improve. Now, on to maintaining relationships. It obviously builds trust and respect between partners and friends, which I discussed was essential. It encourages an open communication and honesty. So if you take in a relationship between two people, if you can't trust them, obviously you can't be open with them because you'd be scared that they might judge you or they're going to make you feel like you're the problem even though you're bringing up the issue. I've had relationships like that in the past. Obviously, I was a lot younger. The girls were a lot younger, and that's just how it is at the time. But being able to have that open communication, being able to be accountable, plays a role in that because if you think about it, if you own up to your actions, they're going to be more likely to own up to theirs because they see you being open, and then therefore can be open too. It helps prevent misunderstandings and conflicts because if you don't agree on an issue with someone or they misunderstand it, you being accountable, being like, no, I did this for this reason, this is why this happened, they may take it and be like, oh, okay, I see why you did that. Now we can take the next steps to resolve this issue. And it shows that you care about the feelings and well-being of others and that you're not selfish. Because someone that doesn't take accountability for their own actions is innately selfish. Because all they care about is what they're doing, and they don't care about the impact it has on others. Next, onto maintaining friendships. It creates a sense of mutual respect and trust. So, like the other two, trust, essential. It encourages positive and supportive interactions. So, I've had friends in the past where you guys might have the problems in the past too, where you have a friend and let's say you get some good news, you get a new job or you excel at something, you hit a PR. The true friends are the ones that are with you on your highs and they celebrate with you. So for example, if my friend Aaron gets a 185-pound bench press, which is his goal right now, him hitting that PR is like me hitting that PR because I get the same amount of excitement as seeing him win as I would seeing myself win. And I think that's the definition of a true friend because they want to push you and you push them in turn and we all get better because of it. So if you have any friends in your life that make you feel guilty for winning, cut them out. They don't deserve to be in your life because if they make you feel guilty for winning, they're just going to hold you back in the end. So it also helps build stronger connections and deepen friendships. So Aaron, one of my greatest friends that I hang out with pretty often because we go to school together and we hit the gym together a lot, he and I started talking this year-ish, but we feel like a lot better friends than people I've known for 4 or 5 years in the past that I played hockey with, but have different goals and therefore are on different paths and kind of don't jive with the same stuff that I'm talking about. He's very focused like me and he wants to build, help people and kind of focus on like developing himself and being the best that he can. Same as my friend Manene. He's probably watching the video and shout out to you, Manene. He's a great personal trainer and he runs Fit Performance. I'll plug his Instagram in the discussion or description. But those two are two people that are outstanding friends, and their goals align very much with mine. So I feel like I have two brothers there because I can talk to them about anything, and they understand when I'm talking about like being driven to do something. They understand the same point of view because they're very driven as well. So my last point for maintaining friendships would be it promotes accountability in group settings, and it encourages others to take responsibility for their actions as well. So that goes with that group thing of everyone improving together. If one person takes accountability and you see it, it's like monkey see, monkey do. So if you see someone taking accountability and doing something that is outside of the norm, because obviously taking accountability is not as common as we would like it to be, if you see that, you're going to be more inclined to take accountability for your actions too, because you'll respect them more, and therefore you'll correlate that with you take accountability and people are going to respect you more. So that's why I think accountability is so important, and I challenge anyone who's watching this, if you feel that you weren't accountable for a mistake in your past, maybe own up to it. Just even if it's a small thing, like my situation with the girl that I was talking to in September, and I sent her a text being like, I didn't handle things as well as I could have. Therefore, I'm sorry. I apologize for my actions. They were not, I guess, my character because they were against what I usually do. I just surrounded myself with the wrong people, and I was immature, and I didn't own up to my actions that I made, and I didn't have the accountability to, I guess, face what I did and apologize for it at the time. So if you find anything that you're like you feel that you weren't accountable for, own up to it. Even if it's a small thing, just tell someone, hey, I messed up here. I'm sorry for that. It was against what I try and do, and own up to it. So that's the video, and if anyone watches this and you want me to cover another topic, leave it in the comments and I'll cover it.